Welcome everybody to the Blessed Beyond Measure podcast. I'm your host, CL the Source. Thank you once again for tuning in to yet another episode. And today I'm sitting with a real talented dude that I came across on Instagram. I came across a post that he made, and I think it was under the hashtag growth. And I was just searching up all these different posts with growth, and his caught my eye immediately because it said in 2016, he was broke and playing violin on the streets. And then if you swipe left, it told a story of all these amazing things that he did after that. And it got me super inspired, super motivated, and also very curious. So I did the logical thing was try to reach out to dude and ask if he'd love to come on here and have a conversation and share that story, because I felt the inspiration already kind of going through me. And I really wanted to share that with the audience, anybody that's listening to this. And I'm very grateful to have today with me, all the way from Maryland, I believe, right, Marvil? Yeah. Yep. Marvil Martin. What's up, Marv? Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you, yo. Thank you for having me. Hearing how you came across that post is actually crazy to me because before that was a carousel of photos that you could swipe through. It was a TikTok video. And as I always do, I was just doing research on how to create content, how to market. And I was listening to, I forgot her last name, but her name is Nikki. She's like this kind of like social media kind of expert. She suggested doing carousels of stories. So then I went to the TikTok and I took the screenshots. I made a post and I was like, this is basically a story of growth. So just hearing how that worked out and how you came across it is crazy. I'm like, okay, no doubt, that's dope. But yeah, man, pleasure, honor to be here, man. I mean, I could start from the 2016 portion and kind of, I guess, give you my perspective of what was going down in that moment. However you want me to go about it.
Yeah, man. Well, first and foremost, again, I appreciate you being here, my G. It's real cool to have you. I was very much looking forward to this conversation because, mostly because I want to provide value to all the people listening to this, but I also wanted to learn, man. I wanted to take some knowledge myself so I can start applying it into my life, man. Take me back to I did a little research on my end to kind of get to know you a little bit. From my understanding, you were born in the Bronx and now you're in Maryland. So talk to me before we kind of bring it to Maryland. What was your experience like growing up in the Bronx, man? I love the East Coast. I love New York, man.
Yeah, so basically how that portion of my life happened was I was born in the Bronx until about really young, really young. So I barely remember much of the Bronx. And I moved to Westchester County, New Rochelle, New York, and that's where I really did like all my developmental years and stuff like that. So, but New Rochelle, New York is literally a hop, skip, and a jump from the five boroughs. So all the cultural influence, you already know, all the events, just everything New York just bleeds over into Westchester County, and actually a little bit back forward the other way, as you probably don't know, but Westchester County has places like Mount Vernon, where you got like DMX from, you got Yonkers, where you got D Block coming from, you know what I'm saying? You got also you're gonna go back to like Pete Rock, you know what I'm saying? I mean the list goes on, man, of all the dudes coming out of Westchester, New York, and that New York City influence. So in New Rochelle, super eclectic place is literally the same thing as being in New York, just all kinds of people. New Rochelle, New York actually has like, to me, I think one of the best like school systems as far as extracurriculars that you can do, from sports, art, all kind of reaches of academia for real. So living there was definitely man, it was everything, honestly. And I'm one of five siblings. I'm the middle child. You know what I'm saying? So I had the whole big family experience. With the New York vibe, Jamaican family. So my parents are Jamaican, and yeah, man, I started playing violin when I was like 7 years old. My older sister started taking lessons first. I thought it was cool. That's really like the genesis of this whole thing, for real, for real. Yeah, so basically it goes. I kept playing. I took lessons. My teacher thought I was kind of a natural at it, so that kind of inspired me to keep going. Awesome woman. Her name was Mary Barton. She lived like a little north in Westchester, in a place called Mamaroneck at the time. And my dad used to drive us over there to take lessons and stuff. So what you call it? I was playing in high school, all the orchestras. You know what I'm saying? Elementary school, middle school, high school. I had like my first solo. I remember in fifth grade, um, for orchestra. This like concert, I'll never forget it. And that really like that experience stuck with me so much that I kept like just going with the violin. It's funny because a lot of my closest friends, we got to like high school, um, they didn't know I really would play the violin like that. It's kind of like this thing that I just did. And I had from being young. But most people when I got older started knowing me more for like playing football and theater and school. Like I used to act in theater and art. Well, I was a huge visual artist before I was a musical artist. Like I designed my friends' tattoos and stuff like that. Like I was, yeah, it was like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I one of my to this day, my right hand man, I call him my cousin friend. You know what I'm saying? We all got that friend. My boy John Force, he put me on to making beats because as I was getting in more into like hip hop, as going from middle school to like high school, I started knowing like real old school hip hop. That's when I really started getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I fell in love with the beats. I used to beatbox in high school, but like the freestyle Fridays when my boy would rap and he'd be battling people, I would just drop the beat. You know what I'm saying? I was nice at it. So I
Hey.
started making beats when I was like 16. You know what I'm saying? But I never ever combined the violin with the beats. Like I didn't do it like for a long ass time. Like not till like so I started making beats at 16. Not till I like dropped out of my first college. So we talking like 22, 23. So it's like I was making beats and playing violin separately for like a 7 year stretch before I even combined the two like that. But my sister who inspired me to play, she stopped playing eventually after high school. She's more of like a dancer. That's her first inspiration as a dancer. So she did that, and I ironically kept playing. But after high school, when I went to college, I stopped playing completely. I actually stopped playing for about 5 years, from like 18 to like 23. I didn't pluck a string, nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy how in like 2015, 2016, when I picked it back up, I only picked it back up because my girlfriend, who's not my fiance, she bought me my first electric violin in like 2015, 2014. And that made me kind of be like, damn, I gotta like use this amazing gift. So I was like, let me pick this violin up and start playing with it. And I did a street show with my independent label that I'm with. It's my brother and my other right hand man, Jesse Scott. My brother Len Lama. He goes by Ida Lama. He shoots a lot of videos. He's super dope. That's more of his focus right now with the videos. And Jesse Scott, he's a dope rapper and songwriter. And we all three of us have this label called 39th Records.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a street show, like a street show tour. Like we literally we went from like New York. I had my violin, the speakers, the beats, they had the mics, and we was in Grand Central. We was in Times Square. Went down to Philly, and we was right down on Market Street, and like right in front of the Hard Rock Cafe. And then we went down to Baltimore. We was on the pier. Then we went down to DC. We was on the like we was just hitting up the whole like Northeast Coast, just literally in the street, just playing. And it was so dope. And we did that for like pretty much a summer. And I remember I was it was like a couple years later. Like I didn't do it again really after that, but I was in between jobs because I was in college studying architecture at University of DC at the time. That's the whole reason why I even came down here. So after I had got myself together in New York, finished that community college degree, came out here, and I went to pursue studying architecture at University of DC. So I was doing that. Like I said, I wasn't really playing, but I had an internship, a dope internship, but I had some situation with my car, my license, and all that stuff. So my license got suspended, and I had to like send the plates back to New York and all this stuff. But long story short, I had to sell the car, lost the job. So I'm in between jobs. I'm like, all right, let me think of something to do in the meantime, just to bridge the gap until I get a new job. So I was like, damn, I remember that time I had the street with my boys. I had the violin, and we was making good tips. I was like, let me just go out there solo, with some of my beats and see what I could do. So I went up on the street. I think one of the first places I played at was Silver Spring, Maryland. And that's like, ironically, Silver Spring is like literally what New Rochelle, where I grew up at, New Rochelle to New York City. That's what Silver Spring to DC kind of is. So it's kind of funny how I started in a very similar place in New Rochelle, but in Maryland. And yeah, man, I was making great tips on the street. Like at the, I it got to the point where I was like, there's no point in me even getting a job, man. You know what I'm saying? So I was just out there doing my thing. And yeah, like so one random ass Tuesday afternoon at like 1 p.m. on a day I didn't even feel like going out there to play. I kind of dragged myself out there to play that day. And this probably big Muslim dude came up and he was just vibing. Like that's how people do when I'm playing on the street. They vibe out, they throw a tip in the bucket, maybe chop it up, whatever. And he's just there vibing for a minute. And then he asks me to start playing some like MMG stuff, like Wale and
Rick Ross.
Mill, yeah, Rick Ross, all that. So I was like, why he asked me that? That's really specific. So honestly, so I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna play. I started playing some joints, doing what I do. And then finally, he was like, he showed me his Instagram. It was like, yeah, man, I'm a bodyguard for Wale. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I should like connect you with Wale. I think match with the vibe. You should play with them. I was just like, what, for real? You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Okay, and we exchanged information, and I didn't hear from him for like 6 months. You know what I'm saying? It was a long ass time. It was so when I had met him, I want to say like in the summer on the street, and by December of 2016, I got that call or that text. I think it was a text. Like, yo, we getting ready to do the New Year's Eve show that Wale was doing yearly. He did it for like I think 10 years straight. I think I could be wrong, 8 or 10. And I must have been on year like 6 or 7. I've been doing it. So yeah, he invited me out to rehearse with the band. It was like some big rehearsal space out there in College Park by the University of Maryland, and we over there rehearsing. I met Wale and everything like that, and I'm playing with the band. Everybody's vibing. They fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool. And I was just like, all right, bet. So I rehearsed with them for a week straight, man. You know what I'm saying? And the show came on New Year's of 2017. It was a sold out show in Silver Spring, Maryland. And yeah, man, that took it to a whole new level, a whole new level. Yeah, man, I haven't really been on the street playing in like 3 years for real. So I've been doing, basically professionally full time. You know what I'm saying? So, weddings, birthdays, corporate events, playing on people's actual records, producing records, the whole nine, man. Just just everything. So I'm just blessed for all the experiences I had as far as like learning to play the violin, knowing how to handle music production programs and how to mix a song, and having my little business degree, so I was able to move, you know, well enough as a business to make it flow. It's just crazy how every little piece of my past like finally came together in this time, and it's just like, what I'm saying, now it's just smooth sailing for real. Like it's crazy, man. It's definitely a surreal feeling every day. Real, for real.
Man, that's mad ill, bro. On some real shit, like hearing that story and just the full rundown, the full scope of what happened. That shit goes crazy, man. Because I'm sitting there listening to you, man, and I'm just like, damn, how everything just kind of like came into place. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you went through
Yeah,
that rough period, but you kind of, from the sounds of it, you kind of went back to your passion. Which is it safe to say that
yeah,
playing your music and creating music is a place where you find like really great moments of happiness?
absolutely, 100%, 100%, man. Especially at that time when it happens, everything about it is so divine. I was just about to finish that degree, basically, when this all happened. And like I said, I was struggling, like struggling. Like I mean, bills was not on time at all. The usual broke college broke college student, vibe. you know, single parent trying to help out type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, um, like I said, I had just lost this job, which ironically was like the best job I could have had. It was literally a paid internship. So I'm just like, at the no, now I got no car. I had a car for like the first 3 years of college. Now I gotta bust my ass my senior year without a car. You know, try to make everything work. Get, you know, public transit for like 2 hours just to get to school and come back. You know what I'm saying? It was a challenge for real. Like I would literally bring my violin with me, books, and my speaker to school every day because I knew after the class I was going to the street. You know what I'm saying? So it was that kind of hustle. So like I don't know when it happened for real. Like I said, on top of it, I knew I always wanted to do music. The whole architecture thing was, you know, to make mom happy. You know what I'm saying? So I did that. When I got out the way finally, I was the grad school thing was on the table. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about the whole thing of trying to taking out more loans and all this stuff like that. And I was just like, I don't even think I really want to do architecture like that. And I was really good. Like I graduated at the top of my class, and no lie, I was top of my class in architecture for 2017 UDC's UDC architecture department. Yeah. I was really like one of two people left from freshman year. Ironically, the class was like 15 people in freshman year. 2 people graduated. I was one of those 2. You know what I'm saying, like that. So my professor wanted me to go to grad school. He was like, "You would be a good architect. You should go to grad school and do that." But I was like, you know, I finally have gotten this degree that I was chasing for like 8 years. I dropped out of NYU Polytech. That's why I went straight out of high school the first year. I dropped out because I found more of my passion for music, and so it was a whole process of going to, you know, community college to get my credits up, then be able to transfer to another school. That whole thing. That's why it took 8 years to finally do this bachelor's degree. So I was done. I was like, yo, I've never had a moment in my life where I got to spend 100% of my focus and time on music. I've never done that. Like never ever done that. So I was like, I feel like I finally earned it to do that. So I was like, yo, I'm not gonna do grad school. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not even gonna go get another architecture job because the Wale concert happened my last semester of my senior year. So it was literally like it was like life is showing you like you landed this opportunity by only using like 50% of your effort because you were literally spending all this other time with studying architecture.
Right.
So it was like it's like now it's like I had to kind of jump off the cliff a little bit because I was like, yeah, I got this opportunity. The money's not here yet. I'm getting a lot of attention and stuff like that, but it's like it was a little bit of a gamble. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
imagine if you go full fledged at it, right? If you go 100% all in,
like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking to myself the whole time. Like I've done the whole, even the Tory Lanez thing happened while I was at NYU Polytech studying civil engineering. Like all these things happened when I was like kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So I'm like, yo, let me just go 2 feet in for the first time in my life, man. Like let me just do it. And greatest decision I've made in my life, man. Like pretty that happened in 2017. So everything post 2017 in that post is all, you know, me making that decision of like, yo, I'm doing music full time. Then Fox 5 happens. Then NPR Tiny Desk happens. Then being in a movie happens. And it's just like, wow, this is crazy. This is crazy, man. So yeah, man, that's kind of like how it all happened to where I am today. And I feel like jumping off that cliff a little bit back then, like and building the parachute on the way down was like was the way to go.
Yeah, well, they say, man, in life sometimes you just got to go all in, man, and see where that takes you, man. And it sounds like from your story, you did that and it paid off, man, and it's continuing to pay off because not only are you making a living off of it and doing well, but you're also in love with it because it's your passion. It was like it's your gift, and you're sharing your gift, right? Now, I want to break down everything you kind of just said right there, like from Tory Lanez moment to working with Rakim to working not in that specific order, but I want you to, man, take us to that time, man, and just kind of, you know, let's start with the Tory Lanez thing because Tory Lanez, like I told you off air, one of my favorite artists, man. So how did that come about?
Man, that was an interesting situation. So coming out of high school, maybe I had been making beats for like 2 years. I had just decided I'm gonna make it serious now. So I was like, I'm gonna start trying to like promote my beats. So I'm a freshman at NYU Polytech. I also tried out for the basketball team. I made it. I was playing D3 basketball at NYU Polytech. So like what I would do was go to class, go practice, go home, make beats, go to sleep. No homework. I didn't do nothing. I was just like, I was wilding. Honestly, I was bugging. But I'm like, you're 18, you living in downtown Brooklyn by yourself. You know what I'm saying, on these school loans, just by yourself. Left to your own devices. I was like so unfocused, and I was wilding. But all that work ended up somehow getting into, I think, either Tory himself or his manager. Long story short, I remember somebody contacted me for beats. Um, the deal never really went through at the time. Of course, I'm 18. I barely even know what I'm doing. I'm like offering the smallest amount for these beats. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy for the opportunity. I don't remember everything really going through like that, for to be honest. But I swear, like it was like 4 or 5 months later, man, and like it's the middle of class, and I got a text from one of my friends, and like, yo, I'm listening to this mixtape, bro. I know this is one of your beats because people knew me for making beats. I used to make beats and throw them out on YouTube and Facebook and SoundCloud. So people like my friends, they really started knowing. Not even like friends, people I went to high school with, like they just knew for my stuff. So this kid that was high school hit me up. Was like, "Yo, I know this is one of your beats, man. Like I've heard this joint before." So he sent me this mixtape, and it's Tory Lanez on the joint, right? And at the time, I hadn't heard of Tory Lanez like that. So I started listening to his music, like just listening to that music. I'm like, oh, he's actually dope. He's actually fire. And so I hit him up on Twitter. So like we start talking on Twitter and all stuff like that. And like it's like 3 or 4 songs that he did. And the first 3 he put on like you can't even find this mixtape online no more. It was called like Accordion. And I'm trying to think. And then the next joint with the Thank You Mama was on this Mr. Peterson mixtape. He did that one with I think DJ Webstar, and I don't think it was Web. I think it was Webstar. That one did really well. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that Thank You Mama, at least on YouTube, I know was up there around like 150. His post of it, it was like around 150 views, 150,000 views in like the first like month of it dropping or something like that. It was dope. It was making waves. And like I said, people after that, people was just like hitting me up, like, "Oh snap! Like I heard you on the Tory mixtape or in the Tory mixtape. This is what's up." I was in school. That's the first like sign from God was like, "Yeah, if you want to do this music thing, you can." But this is way early in the story when I wasn't even thinking of jumping off the cliff yet. So I'm still in NYU Poly, doing my thing. Uh, just essentially slowly dropping out because I'm just not doing any work. I'm going to class barely, but I'm in my dorm room just making beats. Like, and then I started meeting people in the city, like the point guard of the basketball team that started over me. He actually introduced me to one of his boys who was like a pretty skilled engineer, audio engineer. And basically that's how I learned how to start mixing. It was just the basic of mixing a song. Like after I met him, and I used to, at nighttime I would take the train going to Queens, go to his place. He had the little setup like just like I have it now. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy even thinking about it now. I'm just like, yo, I remember I dreaming about having a setup like this, like when I saw his joint. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, it's crazy. Just look at this right now. Like, yo, I remember that day. I thought it was so dope. Like, had the speakers and like the mic in the closet and all the padding. I was like, oh, this is dope, bro. This is dope. So I got the bug, man. It was over. Like, classwork, it was a wrap. I was none of that. I was just trying to learn about this music. Like, I gotta learn. Like, nah, what does this do? What does that do? What does this do? What does that do? I was going crazy. So through him, I met a rapper who was buying beats from me named Rello. Still one of my good friends to this day. And yeah, man, just the whole Tory Lanez thing mixed with just meeting a lot of dope artists and people like started me just started pulling me away from this whole civil engineering thing that I was kind of like convincing myself I wanted to do. And I ended up getting academically suspended from NYU Polytech after the first year. GPA was like 1.0 or some shit, some crazy shit like that. And so the following semester, I was at the crib. I was back in New Rochelle. You know what I'm saying? Just basically trying to figure out what I'm trying to do. Obviously, my mother's pissed. You know what I'm saying? Of course, like, it's basically school loans down the drain. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just starting to deal with more real life shit. You know what I'm saying? As you finally leaving high school. At least for me, I know some people deal with way real life shit earlier than that. But for me, that's why, as far as like being a man for yourself, understanding like your decisions, how they impact shit. It started to like really come in around that age, around 18, 19. But that Tory Lanez thing, it sparked so much for me because like I said, I was only really making beats for 2 years. And then I just decided to get kind of serious with it and put it online and put a brand, a Marvillous Beats brand out there and start running with it. So when I went back home, back in Rochelle, that's when I started this. I started this group. I was like, all right, since I'm home, school thing's not happening. Until I get myself registered at community college to try and do this thing again. Let me try to set up this studio I see in my head in my mom's basement. So I was in my mom's basement at like 19, freshly dropped out of college, you know, got a little job at Radio Shack. And that was my spot. I was at Radio Shack for like 4 straight years, man. Like, come on, I was like, you don't get a job, you ain't living here. So I was like, all right. So I got a job back then. And I was all to do. I go to work, come home. I have my boys come over at night, man. We'd be up to like 4 a.m., man, just making beats, writing raps. And then finally, out of all my boys that was coming through, it was obviously my brother, Jesse, John Forrest, my boy who put me on to even make how to make beats. That's a whole other story. Johnny Loveless, that's my boy. He like makes like unique clothes now. He lives in New York City. He's pretty dope actually. He like designs like old. He takes like I explain it like okay. He takes like stuff from like value places where he kind of donate stuff, and he makes like these really cool like figurines and clothes and jackets. He's super talented. But just all my super eclectic, talented boys, just we made this group called I9, and we started making music and art together. And like that was kind of like my boot camp on like producing. You know what I mean? So like taking all these talents, voices, and styles and trying to put together cohesive songs and projects. I did that for like 3 years straight out my mom's basement, like driving her crazy. You know what I'm saying? Basically with the noise and us coming in smelling like weed. It was just like you already know, man. So it was like so yeah, man, that was the next step with that. So all while I'm in the boot camp, in the basement, in my mom's basement, it became the spot. I went back to the community college, trying to take on a strike at this. I attempted doing architecture for a little bit, but at the community college in Westchester, but the classes were so slow and so easy. I knew all the stuff that was making me bored. So then I was like, all right, I know I want to do something with music. I know my mom isn't really cool with me focusing on music in school. She wants me to get like a profession, like a thing. So I was like, all right, let me find a happy medium. I was like, let me try to do business. So I was like, I'm gonna do business administration and business management, like some business finance. So I kind of took all those kind of classes, and it took me about 3 years to finish this like business associate's degree and actually like bang that out. So by that time, me and the boys, we had like mixtapes out. We had done a few put together a little bit of shows and stuff like that. Like we had made a little name for ourselves. It was called I9 the Tribe at the time. But the winds of change were coming through. You know what I'm saying? I had just finished this bachelor's degree, and I know my mom was still pushing me like, yeah, you got this little, not bachelor's, I got this little associate's degree. She's like, yeah, you got this associate's, but you gotta go get this bachelor's, man, and go finish that up, what you started. And I'm just like, at the time, what I'm saying, I'm moving and shaking a lot in New York, so I'm getting in trouble, I'm getting arrested, I'm doing all type of stuff. So she's like, you just need to get out of New York, you need to take a break. You know what I'm saying? So I started applying to schools like outside of New York, like my older sister, the one who was playing violin first before me, she at the time had already went to DC and was living in DC because she went to American University out here. So I was like, let me try and apply to some schools in DC since I already got a sister out there. You know what I'm saying? So I applied to some schools, got into UDC, and that's when I was like, I made the decision. So like, in order to finish my associate's degree, I had to take like a whole bunch of like summer classes. So like, I finished the degree like August like 7th, and then like August like 15th, I was already packing my stuff to move to DC to make it on time for the semester out there. So like, basically the whole I&I thing was already kind of starting to break away, not for any bad reasons, just like my group at the basement was centered around music, but everybody had other talents. Like I said, my boy Johnny Loveless, he liked to design, make clothes. My boy John Forrest, he loved cars and photos. my boy, my brother Len Lama, he loved doing videos. So they started wanting to focus on things outside of music more. So what happened was we kind of like minimized the group. So there's three of us. It was me, my brother, and Jesse, whose focus was at the time just rapping and doing music anyway. Then we became Third and Ninth, who you might see on like a lot of my stuff now. Third and Ninth Records is basically the independent label I rock with, where it's me, my brother, and Jesse. We help each other with everything from creating the music to doing administration stuff like splits, and royalties, and registering with PROs and all that fancy stuff for the music business. So yeah, we just all kind of help each other, and that's why I came out here. And like all this time, what I'm saying, and through basement, community college with a business degree, going to DC, I'm not playing violin at all. Like I haven't played. Not like this
Wow.
is going on 3, 4, 5 years now. I haven't played at all. After high school, after that last day of orchestra, senior year, like 2 weeks before graduation, I never played another note. I don't know why. Guess I didn't have the incentive. I stopped taking lessons, private lessons, because I traded that time to play football. I wasn't gonna study music in college. I wasn't gonna join an orchestra or anything like that, so I just stopped playing. I'm like, I don't need to play. So I put it to the side for like half a decade, and like I said, got to UDC. My girlfriend, who was now my fiance, we had met back in New York. We went to high school together, but we got back together when I came out to DC because she was out here too. So um, it was like my second or third year out here. She got me an electric violin as a gift. Just like she must have heard me just talking about how I used to play the violin. It's just crazy. So it was so crazy because I didn't talk about it a lot. So for her to have heard that in conversation and actually go get one was crazy to me. I remember when I got that, I was like, I remember like, as I'm looking at it, I remember saying like, yo, I remember in passing, I told you I've always wanted an electric violin,
Wow.
and like I didn't think it was like I didn't make an intent to be like, oh, I want this as a gift. It was just like, oh yeah, in passing, I was like, yeah, you just play violin. I listen to violin was so dope. I know it'd be really cool if I had one. Keep going about my day, And then on my birthday is an electric violin. I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. So like that's what started me kind of like starting to get back a little bit into the violin. And that Third and Ninth, my boys, my brother Jesse Scott, we did that little street show tour with the violin I just got and everything like that, and that was a dope experience. So I did that in the summer. I think that was like the summer of going from my sophomore year at UDC into junior. I think so. And then like this still wasn't really playing like that. I was just kind of messing around with it. Then by my senior year, this is like 2016, 2017. That's why I started hitting the streets with it because I needed the money and all stuff like that. And man, it just turned into this whole thing. Like it turned into this whole thing. Like it's crazy. And so yeah, there's so many moving parts of the story. So I know sometimes I talk about it, I know it's probably hard as hell to follow, but it's like it really is. This is how it happened. It's just mad, just weird divine stuff flowing.
No,
But
I get it, man. I get it. You tell it very well, in my opinion. And
I like it.
the real cool part is that, like, okay, I got a few questions, man, hearing you talk, because I know, sometimes the pressure from a parent can really kind of, do something to you. And, you mentioned that moms wanted you to do architecture and stuff like that. But earlier on, you realized you had a gift. Even I think your music teacher told you you had a gift, which is why you continued to pursue it. So
Right.
when you were in that space where, you were kind of studying architecture in college and stuff like that, did you like was there ever any time where you kind of were like, man, I missed the violin? Or was it really all just divine timing, like how, your current fiance, or your fiance right now, like brought the electric violin to you and everything like that? And or was there anything like inkling in you like that kind of made you want to get back to that on your own? Or was it really the universe just bringing it right back to you?
Man, it was always producing, never the violin. It was just I just
You
wanted
were
to
in
make
music. You were in music.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean like as far as like that angst to grab my violin and play while I'm studying architecture,
Mhm.
instead of violin, it was just producing beats in general. That's all I wanted to do. Like, so violin wasn't really in my mind. I'm doing architecture. I'm like, man, I wish I could go home and make a beat. I wish I could go home and mix this song. It wasn't, oh, I wish I could go home and play my violin. That's what it was I was thinking. I was just like, yo, my real passion, to be honest, above playing violin is making beats. Like, I love producing and like writing songs, and that's what I really love. I just so happen to be a producer that can play violin. I'm not a violinist that makes beats. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's funny because the violin is so prominent in my brand, just because like what you were insinuating, that the universe has started giving it to me. That started like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is an ingenious way to open the door to what I really want to do anyway. So I took it serious. So I started really digging into playing the violin. So, you know, that's kind of what it was. Like, I feel like I go so hard with the violin because I know how many doors it's opened for me to make music full time, period. So it's like that was always the goal, you know, always the goal.
Yeah, that's dope. It's so unique, man. And you know, you kind of gave me an insight as to how you came across picking up the violin through your sister and everything like that. But what specifically about the violin, what attracts you about that instrument versus any other instrument, would you say?
Yo, that's a great question, man. I think at the time, I guess I could break it down by times. It's probably like three different times where it's like when I was younger, when I was like a teenager versus now. So when I was younger, what drew me to the violin was simply my sister was playing it. Like I was one of those little brothers that followed his little sister around all the time. Like she had glasses, I wanted glasses. You know what I'm saying? Like it was that kind of thing. And she was doing it, and I think I generally did think it looked cool and sounded cool. And like I said, my sister was doing it, so I'm like, yo, let me do it too. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try it. And I ended up trying it, and just out of dumb luck, I was a natural at it. It was weird. So, you know, when I got to be a teenager though, and I started playing, I started to realize the spaces that playing violin was putting me in. Obviously, being a young dude, I love the fact being in an orchestra with like 20 girls and like 3 guys. You know what I'm saying? The ratio was always in my favor. So I was like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm loving this. Like, are you kidding me? And I'm good at playing violin. Oh my god,
Oh
bruh.
man,
I loved it. It was
it's
it was
automatic.
so much fun. It was automatic, bro. It was it
Yeah.
was it was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, and I took advantage of it sometimes. Like my orchestra teachers are usually really nice people, so like I didn't be a complete asshole, but like you know I'd be late to class and stuff like that, and like but because I was so good, I could sit down and just play the song real quick and everything's okay. You know what I'm saying? So it was just fun. To me, it was just like, okay, life is easy. This is an easy A. I'm enjoying myself being this one dude. But then as I got older, I didn't think of it this way when I was younger or when I was a teenager. But as I got older, it wasn't just being a dude; it was really being a black dude. And I started to realize, like, oh, there's another layer to this. You know what I'm saying? I started to get older, so the world wasn't like people really hadn't. Like I said, I didn't think of it myself till I thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, I don't usually see, at least in the media, black people playing the violin. You know what I'm saying? So like when I started to realize it was this thing, and this is I'm talking about now. I'm talking like in the last like 5 years of me really realizing like okay, being black and talented at playing an instrument like the violin, and then mixing that with like black cultural music is like this crazy phenomenon now. Like you know what I'm saying? So yeah, now I feel like I'm also playing it obviously because it's my professional service that helps me live my life, and then there's a whole other side of it where I'm like, wow, I didn't realize how many people I'm inspiring and touching. Like some of the conversations I used to have on the street, man, with like white businessmen, little Indian kids, uh, Asian teenagers, white hipster girls. It's just like everybody, man. It was just not a single demographic that didn't connect with. You know what I'm saying? And then of course the young black kids who was just to see who was seeing. You could like the way they just be looking like it's like they almost couldn't believe it type thing. And like it's always crazy when parents come up to me and say like their kids want to play now. You know what I'm saying? Like oh they saw you playing and like they won't stop asking about getting them a violin and they want to try lessons and stuff like that. Like my daughter's cousin, my niece-in-law, she picked up the violin now. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's just it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like I didn't plan for any of this. Like I didn't say I wanted to be like this black violin playing icon guy. Like I never wanted to be that, but it's humbling as hell. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? To be in this kind of position, and you know, people ask me all the time if I do lessons, and like I thought about it for a little while, um, but then it came down to economically the time, um, taking away the time versus you know my current rate for things that I do. I feel like I'm better, and this is what I do now. Is I have an amazing network of violinists in the area who are super talented too. I just forward all the students to them, so at least I can be a conduit for these people who are interested to at least get lessons from talented violinists who are also African American, which is even doper. So you know, yeah, man, you know I've done the whole thing of going to schools, you know, playing in schools too and talking to kids, which I've been invited to do, and that's always surreal because I remember being in high school and like we got a visitor today and you in the auditorium and it's just like, oh snap, who's, you know, saying some dude or some girl who does something dope, and you're just like, oh wow, and like I remember being in the audience and being that dude now that goes to the school and talks to kids. Is like, I'm just like, me? Oh, this is crazy. Like, this is so strange. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I'm starting to accept it more nowadays. I don't like being called like a C-list celebrity or anything like that. Like, I don't really see myself as a celebrity, but um, you know, it's cool to be well known. Like, I'll leave it at that. Like, it's fine. Like, all I ever really wanted to do on the side of like, you know, fame and fortune was just simply to be respected as like I guess like a legendary producer. You know, I loved guys like Pharrell and Kanye and Timbaland and Knife Wonder and Quincy Jones and David Foster and Clive Davis, Maurice White from Earth, Wind and Fire. Like I loved how much like you know respect those names got. You
Mhm.
know, DJ Premier, and I'm going forever, man. Like, oh my favorite producer is Kanye, and you know what I'm saying. So like, I wanted to do that. I wanted to be respected like that. Like, as long as all of this brought that, I was happy. You know what I mean? That's always been the goal. So it's like all this other stuff that's around. It's kind of funny because it's not so focused on it. I'm not. It's not so obvious that all I'm trying to do is not exactly what you're seeing. So it's interesting, but yeah, man. Each stage of my life, the violin had a different draw to it. To answer the question fully. So when I was a kid, it was my sister. When I was a teenager, it was just fun and attention. And now it's almost like purpose. You know what I'm saying? Now it's more purpose.
That's amazing that you said that and you finished off what you said right there with that, because as you were speaking, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, you are a prime example of what it means when you lean into your gift, your natural God-given ability, or like your natural gift, and everything
Yeah.
else just seems to fall into place. And I think
Yeah.
you know, I think I think a lot of us, man, especially myself too, for sure, when we don't know what our gift is, we tend to try a lot of different things. And, you know, that can sometimes lead to frustration, sometimes lead
Mhm.
to impatience, sometimes leads to all sorts of different things that we kind of don't necessarily desire. But when you find what it is that you have a natural gift and talent at, and you kind of just pour in and you went all in on yours, even in those moments
Mhm.
of frustrations, even in those moments of like difficulty and stuff like that, and to see where you've
Mhm.
come and how it just all tied together full circle and it's continuing to unfold more and more every day, that's amazing. And I think anybody that hears your story and continues to follow your progress, they can gather that, because that's surely what I'm getting, man, because I'm just like, man, okay, damn, because I really feel like every one of us on God's green earth, we all have something specific to give to this life, to this world. And when you find it
Yes.
and you just really pour into that, you really learn how to, just cultivate that more and more every day, and you give that gift to the world. All that other stuff that we be tripping about, don't it's gonna fall into place.
Yeah, it's a fact. It's a fact. I mean, in my sense, it happens. it's a mix of emotions when it starts to happen, because it's almost disbelief, it's nervousness, and it's excitement, and then it's fear, it's anxiety. So it's a lot. I know it's funny getting to this I guess point in in the journey is like I start to understand so many things that I never used to understand. For example, being afraid of success, things like that, and like being afraid, for example, as a man, to be a leader and be like a family guy, or like or as a business person to like really work for yourself 100%. Like it's a lot of trusting yourself, a lot of trusting faith, a lot of just you know I'm a big dude on karma too. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big dude on karma. So it's like I always try to do unto what I would like, would like done to me. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it and I've experienced it myself, where it's like things like, one, the world is way smaller and bigger than you think. It's weird. And like it's funny how energy moves in this world, man. It's funny, like things that I did out of the kindness of my heart back in the day, just coming back 7, 8, 9 years later in like perfect time is like the craziest thing. And then like even on the flip side, when I was younger, doing things half-assed and cutting corners and seeing how that affected me down the line, I was just like, damn. Or not being honest with people, especially when it comes to relationships, with romantic relationships and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, at some point, I realized that like energy and karma is real and you have to respect it. So I just feel like my success in this one area of my life has taught me so much about life in general, and it reflects both ways as far as like just being really, just really genuine in everything that you're doing. Um, it's just been man, there's been so many lessons on this journey. That's why I say every day I wake up, it's just so surreal because it's just there's no real manual for this. You know what I mean? So it can be scary sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like if you would have told me, 10 years ago that I would have built all of this off of like four strings and a bow. You know what I mean? It's like, it's interesting, man. And yeah, yeah, life now is interesting. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna say it's interesting. I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the dream has already been attained. Like the whole goal was to be able to work for myself and just do music full time and not feel the stress of like splitting my time. And now that I already attained that goal literally like 3 years ago, now everything's kind of like, I explain it. It's finding that next chapter. It's growing. It's maintaining, and it's all icing on the cake too. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little icing on the cake, and I'm happy about that because I read a lot, a lot, and one of the things that I stuck with me. One of the books I was reading was like just understanding when enough is enough, and then going beyond that just for fun, just as a hobby. You know what I'm saying? Because just never essentially enough if you have to quantify enough by a number, like a dollar amount or something like that. Mm-hmm. So just really meditating and getting myself to the point of like, yeah, you don't have Lambos and Grammys right now, but you have a lot right now, and like just be really grateful and thankful for that, and have fun with whatever comes after that. And that has been like one of the biggest things right now for me.
I love that, man. I really, really do, man. And I can sense that about you. The humility, the gratitude, the just the awareness of the blessings that you have in your life. And I can just sense that about your energy too, man. And I remember pre-recording, I asked you how you're doing. You said living a dream. And sometimes people are sarcastic when they say that, but you're really doing it, man. Like you're really like you've been the architect of your own life, and you've created
there you go.
what you're doing right now, right? And by you doing that, it just shows it can be done. It's inspiring, man, especially given the circumstances that you've had to go through. Now, let's talk about some of those moments of frustration, of impatience, of not knowing what's going to happen next, of just really kind of those difficulties, those challenges. what kept you motivated during those times? How did you find ways to stay motivated and keep going, man?
Um, One thing I think for sure was I was always ready for the worst possible outcome. Like when I try to break that down. Um, when I came from New York to DC and like was gonna try to just do the whole thing, living in my own place, doing the school thing, and somehow I knew in the back of my mind, I was like, I'm gonna figure out a way to get this music thing working. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. And I kept it in the back of my head. I was like, I'm willing. I literally said this before it even happened. I was like, I'm willing to live on the street. Not saying I would literally live on the street, but I'm willing to be broke on the street to figure this out. I said that to myself when I came out here. And it was so funny when I found myself with no job, no car, broke on the street. I was like, I was prepared for this, so let's go. Let's just get it. You know what I'm saying? It was like a challenge. Like, I think I was lucky when I was a younger kid that my dad was like super strict. He instilled a lot of competitive nature in me. Like he made me very competitive. I can't even pinpoint how he did it, but he just always challenged me and made me competitive. And I just feel like feeling the confidence along with the competitiveness. I always knew if my back's against the wall, like I'm smart enough. I just have enough dumb faith to keep going. So it's like when you love something, man, like you're gonna keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? And like I find it hard to believe that you could be doing something that you love and trying to progress at it, like actually trying to get better at it, and nothing happens over time. Like I feel like it's impossible. If you do something every day with the intent of getting better at it, with the passion of the fact that you love it, like something has to happen. Like it just has to. Like the laws of the universe say it just has to happen. So I feel like that's why I always trusted. I was just like, man, like I know I'm dope. I know I'm smart. I don't care that I'm broke on the street right now. I just know it's gonna happen eventually. So like I took the whole street thing to a new level. Like I would actually have an Excel sheet at home. So every time I hit up different spots in DC, I'd write down how much I made. And then after like a few months, I would see which spots made me the most money. You know what I'm saying? And then I would like go there. And like every time I started going out there with CDs. Before I started actually getting my CDs manufactured and looking more professional, I would burn them myself and go out there, seeing how much money I spent on buying CDs, how much I could charge for them. Like I was really breaking this shit down. Like I'm like, nah, I'm gonna figure this shit out one way or another. And then I started finessing, like, okay, people love the covers. Let me start showing some more of my own beats. So then I started doing more beats, and then that's what made me start doing violin and beats. I'm like, I know people love my violin. I know a different group of people love my beats. There's got to be some kind of combination where my violin and beats can make sense, and there's got to be some group of people that love that. So now I'm servicing the community, getting people what they want, and I'm doing what I want to do, I love to do, which is beats. So I just figured it out, and it's only really recently that I came across this brand idea that I'm so confident in, which is called chilled violin, which is taps back into the chilled low hop thing, and my beats. So I was just like, I think I really have so much confidence in it, and like the first album that came out back in October is doing really well, based on my standards of anything else I have released in the past. Like it's doing amazing. So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this for a pretty long time. And just thinking as a business as well as an artist is one of the keys too. Is like when your back is against the wall, it's kind of what you have to do. It's like, yeah, you're an artist, but if you want to get out of this monetarily, you got to start thinking as a business. You know what I'm saying? So like when people on the street started finally asking me, hey, how much do you charge for like weddings and stuff like that? Before I even did one, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, what's your budget? You know what I'm saying? So we can do, and like start working from there. And like that's when that really hit me off. I was like, okay, I can use this to finance my life and finance my passion. And I'm going a little bit off of a tangent, but about your question as far as like what really kept me going in the hard times was just an incredible amount of passion, um, being competitive, just having that chip on your shoulder, not being afraid of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I've literally been an underdog my whole career. I'm even talking like music. I mean sports. I mean um, girls back in the day. Like I'm used to that. You know what I'm saying? So like it helped. You know what I'm saying? Like my armor is tough. My skin is tough. You know what I'm saying? So I can go out there and do what I got to do. But I think it's just a mixture of you just knowing. You just have that conviction in yourself. And I said that point before of like being ready for the worst possible outcome, where it's like, if I don't make a cent off of this, I would still do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if there's something like that that you love, then it's like, and then you work on getting better at that, man. No one's gonna stop you. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna stop you, bro.
That's that's incredible, man. There's so much in what you just said right there that I picked up and agree with so much. And again, you're a living example of all that. And it's just so dope, man. And I'm curious, man, just for my sake, during that
Yeah,
time when you were kind of doing the Excel spreadsheets and everything like that, that's an
yeah,
amazing idea too, because a lot of times we'll kind of just go out there and do stuff, and then but you really buckled down and you were like, okay, I'm making this amount of money over here, I'm making more over
mm-hmm.
here. I'm gonna start shifting, what I do and just really fine tuning and getting really granular with
Yeah.
this stuff. So were you studying business at that time, or did you already just have that kind of idea within you already?
So before I moved out here to go to UDC and study architecture, and after I dropped out of my first school for NYU Polytech for engineering, I went to community college, and that's when I studied my business, like administration and business management, and like I chose it for that reason because like I'm telling you, man, since I was young, I always knew I'm like, yo, just when I got that passion bug for music, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna use every resource I have to figure this out. So I picked business because I was like, yo, I want to do business. You know, so I want to do create a business out of my music. So if I can't do specifically music because my mom didn't think it was a great idea, not a profession, then I'll just kind of hide that in doing business, like because it's professional. But I'm gonna take everything from the business I'm learning and do it into music. So my first opportunity to really do that was 3 years later when I was broke on the street, and I was like, all right, I know you got to quantify a lot of shit in business in order for you to map something out and a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing that because I wanted to see, first of all, do I really have to get a job? So then I started writing down, okay, what's 30 hours times minimum wage for 4 weeks? Okay, how much did I make in 4 weeks last month? Oh, that's a lot more. You know what I'm saying? That was the first step. Cut off the job. All right, cool. I know these are how much this is my expenses for the month of rent. Um, I know my credit card's this much. I know I spent this much for food. I know I need this much for taking the bus to get to school. And I quantify all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say, okay, how much money did I make in these 4 spots? All right, how many hours a week do I have to go play in these 4 spots so I could make my minimum? So now I started writing out my own work schedule out of playing on the street, just off averages. So now I'd make sure, okay, I need at least $20 today for this day. I need at least $20 for this day. I'm gonna go out there for 2 hours. I need at least $50. And if I didn't hit my mark, I would stay out there for a little longer. You know what I'm saying? So after I started quantifying things and then started getting my life back together, man, like paying off credit cards and finally making enough to go lease my first car since selling my last like hoopty ever car. And like it was all very calculated, all very planned. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I think each step, seeing like, okay, I got myself out of this rinky dink room and finally got a better room at a better place just off of like finally quantifying the plan. Okay, I finally paid off those speeding tickets and whatever and got my license back. Okay, cool. Like as you keep chipping away, you
Mm-hmm.
start to realize like, oh, okay, we on to something a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And then I just leveled up from there, man. I got a lot more cleaner. I started having business cards out there instead of just. I used to make sure I dressed somewhat presentable when I went out on the street. Um, I started just chipping away a little bit, just making it a little more fine. So it's like at the end of the day, I'm on the street, but you know what I'm saying? A little bit of effort goes a long way. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Having a little, oh my God. Okay. You know what was crazy? You know what's game changer? I'll never forget this. And this is a business lesson for sure. So when I started playing on the street 2016, um, people didn't know what the fuck Cash App was. People didn't know what the hell Venmo was. People were just getting hit to PayPal. You know what I'm saying? Like So I was just taking cash, and then I remember my now fiance had the great idea of like, yo, you should get a Square card reader so you can start taking credit cards on the street. I was like, ain't nobody gonna trust me with taking their credit card number on the street. Like, you know what I'm saying? But so I was like, but you know what I'm saying? She helped me at the time buy one. I went to the street and I started trying it out, and people was really like, they loved what I was doing so much, and the fact that I had even a product for them to buy, that they was doing it. They were swiping, and like that's when I was like, okay, this is crazy. So then I made a sign. I always used to have a little sign that I had my Instagram. So now I started saying, okay, credit, Visa, whatever, accepted on the sign. So then people come up like, oh, let's see you have a Visa card accepted. I want to tip you, or I want to buy one of your CDs. I have a card. I started busting out the card reader. So then that started making my total on the street go up. You know what I'm saying? Like crazy. So then I was like, okay. Then I started seeing how people were getting hip to these like cash app, like applications.
Right.
So then I was like, okay, I feel like you don't need a Square card, Rick. I hated it. I had to stop playing, take the credit card, put it in my phone, take their card, swipe it, have a 5 minute conversation, give it back to them, start playing again. And that's like 15 minutes gone for like, one transaction. So I was like, all right, we gotta smooth it out. So then I was like, all right, let me just put my handles for these Cash App signs and Venmos and stuff like that on the sign. And then I started doing that like 20, I was early, like I mean early. I was just so hip to like business stuff. Like people, even when I had the sign out there, people were like, "What's Cash App? What's Venmo?" I remember that. I remember that, bro. So it's crazy how now it's like adopted. Like everybody knows what that is. Now if you don't have one, people look at you like you crazy. So like, I mean, I made that adjustment on the street with the sign and like, getting a more efficient speaker. Like it was just so funny how I was taking this so-called beggars job of being on the street and making it like fine-tuned professional almost, like going from like, the lemonade stand to like the lemonade truck to like, what I'm saying? It's one of those kind of things where he's on your street, but you leveling up. And it was such a dope business experiment, kind of like a dope like study case, like what I was doing. Like looking back, I'm just like, yeah, man, like it all paid off. Like taking it serious, like really paid off, man.
That's hella dope, bro, on some real shit. Because even from when you were just breaking down all your expenses and everything like that, and choosing where to allocate it, and just kind of using the how much you make at a job paying you 8 hours a day, blah blah blah, versus how much you were actually making, and then kind of breaking that down and allocating it to where it needed to go, just to kind of get yourself to a comfortable space to where you can kind of get yourself above water, and then you're just figuring it out as you go, man. That shit is man crazy, yo. Like for real. That shit is dope. And it's
Thanks, man.
dude, it's like everybody got to start somewhere. People forget that though. Like
yeah, man.
like, people like to always
man.
see the end results and be like, oh yeah, like it's lucky for him, he could do that. But yo, you don't even know where people started from. Everybody got their own unique story, man. And a lot of us, and no knock on having a job at all. Like if people want to have a job, that's so be it. I still got a job, but I got bigger goals, and it's I'm using it as a stepping stone. You got to start somewhere, man. You know what I'm saying? And it makes it down. And I'm pretty sure you can agree with this. And I haven't gotten to that point yet, but it's gonna make it all the more worthwhile when you build it yourself, not looking specifically for, oh yeah, open these doors happening for you. But if you out there, you know what I'm saying, trying to like expect things that are, like people are gonna open doors for you and all that stuff, like it can happen. But I'm just saying, when you build it on your own, you can depend on yourself, and you really have the ability to figure it out. And you are proof of that, man. And that is ill.
Yo, I appreciate that, man. For real, man. Yeah. It's crazy, man. Even as recent getting DMs, from people like yourself, or even like old friends from school who were like, "Yo, like, just you don't understand how much you inspire me to do, like, to believe in what I'm doing." Like, I watched you from like when we were back in like high school, where you at now, and it's just like I saw you bust your ass like hours in your mom's basement, hours on the street, hours while still doing school. I'm just like, yeah, it's funny because a lot of people who meet me now they don't know half what the story is. They got to see it now, but yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. It's been since I was 18. So that's like 12-year journey, man. 12 years when I started. Like, hey, I'm gonna take music serious at 18. So now I'm about to be 31 this year, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy, and it's so humbling. You know what I'm saying, to be able to tell my story, inspire people, because like I genuinely think it's like you ask all my friends, man, I'm like annoying. Like I'm always like, yo, how can I help you do this, do that? Like what you need to do? Like I know this and that. Like I be trying to get my boys going. Like I'm like annoying as hell. Like don't hit me up for advice, man. It's over. Like I'm gonna talk your ear off for an hour. It's over. Like I know I really be on that time though. That's the time I be
providing
on. Like
value, man. You providing value, man, and that's priceless right there, bro.
nah, thank you, man. That's the type of person I am, man. Like I said, I think it comes back to how I was brought up for real. Like just being competitive, being very, very self efficient. My dad was always like, "Yo, we could read, you can do anything." So we always like still down in reading. Like, I mean, super old school. Like I couldn't watch TV on the weekdays and all type of stuff like that. So
Yeah.
or even on the weekends, you had to read like 2 hours before you watch the book, before you watch any TV or play any video games. I was on that time. So like I hated it back then, but now as I'm older, I'm like, man, like all those muscles that I worked out back then, like, bruh, raising my daughter the same way, the
There you
same
go.
exact fucking way, bro. Like my daughter's on books every day, like,
There you
and I
go.
can see it already. Now she's picking up on certain things. I'm just like, yeah, this is the way.
Man, I saw something on Instagram just last night where it said, as parents, we got to make it so that reading for kids is non-negotiable. Like
Yeah.
it's you got to embed it in them early because man, there's so much knowledge and wisdom that you can extract. I'm a big reader myself, man, and
Mhm.
so many things, and you can teach yourself so many different things just by picking up
Yes.
a book. It's crazy. And in today's world, there's so many different ways to pick up on information and upload it into the brain so that you can
I
apply it
know.
in regular life, man. You know what I'm saying? And man, your journey is incredible, man. And you know what's crazy is I feel like it's taking on a whole new chapter. It's gonna just take on a whole new chapter with your daughter, with where you're at right now, because the potential is limitless for all of us. And where you're at right now, you have a prime opportunity to build it as far as you want to build it, man. And with your
I
attitude that I can
appreciate
sense
that,
right
man.
now, like, damn, sky's the limit for real, for real. Like,
I
sheesh.
mean, I appreciate that, man. Honestly, that's how it feels. And even though there's a little anxiety that comes with that, it's still obviously a lot of gratitude. I'm just like, I'm also just so, I don't want to say anxious 'cause I'm trying to get away from that feeling, but it's just like I'm so ready for like what's coming next. Like
Yeah.
every day, the DMs get more fun and fun every day. And I'm just like, okay, this is cool. This is super cool.
Well, you
So like
strike
even
me
like
as
yourself,
somebody
like,
you strike me as someone who's living in your purpose, man. I'm actually currently reading a book right now. I don't know if you know who Jay Shetty is, but it's a
Jay
book called
Shetty, actually not. Think like a, is that a thing like a monk?
Think Like a Monk. So
Okay,
this
that
dude has
sounds
a
dope. That
podcast
sounds
too.
super dope.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
dude, it's
You already got my interest that one.
yeah,
I'm gonna check that out.
once you it's so incredible, man. And these are things that I didn't think about when I was younger, for sure, man. These subjects
I
that we're
know.
talking about right now, man, these were so
Yeah,
far fetched to me, like back in the day when was
I
young.
know. I
I
know.
wasn't
It's
smart.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So the feeling you have right now, and especially with how much you built, like you have such an incredible opportunity to just like continue to inspire, motivate, and your story is going to continue to just like propel not only your brand and your life, but it's gonna wake something up in people that catch wind of it, man. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm,
I just feel like, man, so the reason why I brought this book up right now was just because you were talking about anxiety. And man,
mm.
all I'll say is just continue to live in the moment. You've already shown the ability to figure it out as you go. And that's
Right.
all you gotta keep doing. Living in your purpose and figure it
No.
out as you go.
Nah, I appreciate that, man. For real. I appreciate that. Hearing that little bit of closure definitely helps you more than you think. So I have to remind myself that it's like done before. You do it again, man. Just just stay to your principles. You be all right.
100, man. Hey man, I've learned so much from our discussion today, man. To be honest with you, and for real, I'm motivated because I swear, as you were kind of just explaining how you kind of started from where you were and you kind of broke things down to some very pragmatic ways of like doing things. I'm starting to think about it how I can do it for my brand, how I can, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh yo,
Yeah,
I need to
man.
really start paying attention, like how I can start kind of building and elevating and applying it. And then eventually, when enough time passes by, if you do it long enough, you're gonna look back and be like, damn, I done built a lot of shit. This shit's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's an amazing feeling, man. I'm telling you, that feeling is crazy. You're always gonna want to keep besting yourself, which is nothing's wrong with that. But it's
Mm,
always it re-inspires you. You know what I'm saying? To keep looking back, like, oh damn, okay, yeah, we went that far. Okay, let's see what we can do this time. Yeah, man. I actually really love the brand. Actually, this blessed beyond measure is dope as hell. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So like, I was like, yeah. Yeah, you definitely to absolutely keep going with this for
I
sure, man.
appreciate it, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man, for sure. I'm
Yeah. Hey,
gonna see
man.
you up there with like Breakfast Club soon and all them guys, man.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Hey, the vision is large, man. We going.
Joe Rogan, you know what I'm saying?
We'll keep going, man. And like I said, you welcome on anytime, my G, because your
Yeah.
spirit that you're bringing in here, man. That energy is exactly what I feel like this podcast embodies. Just trying to
Mm,
pour value into other people. Anybody that catches wind of what we're talking about is just I want them to basically be like a fly on the wall and just be able to pick stuff up so it can help
mhm.
them. You know what I'm saying? We trying to make the world a better place through our work and things like that. So with that being said, before we get out of here, man, because I do want to be respectful of your time, I want to ask you a couple things. First
Yeah.
thing is, so far up to this point in your life, what's been your favorite moment in this whole music thing?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. Woo! That Wale concert, bro. I can't explain to you how I can't explain to you how crazy that was because there's so many layers to it. And I try to be quick with it, but like one of the funniest layers to me was I remember when I was moving to DC, my friend made a joke like, "Oh, you about to go to DC? You gonna link up with Wale?" You know what I'm saying? Kind of like being funny. You know what I'm saying? And he's my boy. He didn't mean anything by it. He was just kind of like teasing me. It was just so funny. I remember when I met Wale, and I sent him the picture. I remember I took a picture of me and Wale. Wale let me take a selfie, and I sent it to him. And my friend lost his mind, bro. He was like, "See, I told you."
Crazy. It's how you
Yo, it
sneaky
was
into
so
these
funny,
businesses,
man.
huh?
Yeah, and then another layer to that was a lot of the pictures you see on my profile of that night came from my now fiance because she had a DSLR camera and I don't think she'll get mad. I'll say this, but she wasn't actually allowed to bring it inside to the concert. You weren't allowed. So they was like, oh yeah, take the lens off or something like that, and we'll hold the lens for you, and then when you come back out, we'll take the lens, right? And I didn't know this was happening because I was already backstage, and she's telling me this after. She's like, all right, cool. So she was like, she's looking around. It was a lot of commotion going on, and so she asked the lady, say, hey, can I use the bathroom real quick? So she gets her ticket, whatever, goes to the bathroom, and she tells me she just walks out and goes in with the camera. So she's in the camera, probably the only person in the crowd with like a professional grade camera, no media pass, and she's snapping shots of my show. And like, if it wasn't for her, like I would have like no pictures or like very little clips because all the pictures obviously were very centered on Wale and everything like that. I'm off to the side, but like she took some premier shots that were like that like set off like my like website and like press kit and stuff like that night. And like it was incredible, man. Like being backstage and meeting other artists like Dave East, meeting Ari Lennox, meeting Dave Bellinger, and like it wasn't even just Wale. It was other people at this show, and it was insane, bro. Especially at that venue because I went to like three concerts as just like a as like as a fan. When I was like, I went to a few concerts there. It's like the Fillmore in Silver Spring's popular. They have all these acts there, and so like when I was like there as a fan, then like not even a month later after seeing like a Common and Jay Electronica show, I was on that stage. It was like the most mind blowing shit ever, and it was so crazy to me. And after that, just like, everybody back home in New Rochelle, kitchen wins and being like, just like bigging me up. It was crazy on Facebook and I mean, insane. Like my DMs were crazy. Everybody's posting, everybody shouting me out like, "Yo, Marv did it. Yo, Marv finally, made that step." You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm telling you, people knew me making music since I was 18. This happened when I was 27, so it's been 9 years of everybody's knowing me trying out rap groups and out my mom's basement. I used to throw house parties. I mean, I was grinding, man. I was man. So that was like stamp, bro. Like stamp, like OD stamp. And like I think second to that was obviously being on NPR Tiny Desk because I used to watch
Saw that
NPR.
last night. It was so good, by the way.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That was another surreal, funny how things happen type of situation. But yeah, man, I watched NPR religiously. Like one of my favorite ones is like the Anderson Paak one and like what you call some other ones, but that's the most prominent. And like when I was on that stage, when I was on that in that NPR office, I'm just looking like, yo, I'm really on the set of NPR right now. I'm just like, I didn't even know there's a crowd because there's like a crowd of people. I didn't know it's actually in a real office building. I'm just like, this is crazy, like seeing behind the scenes of NPR and just like and just chopping it up with Goldlink, who was like a super cool dude, and playing with all those talented ass musicians. That was a crazy experience, and like that was another one of those like, okay, my brand just took another big step up, and it's crazy that it all came from off just playing on the street, man. Like it's crazy.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. When I asked you the question, I thought for sure you were gonna say Rakim or Slick Rick. I thought for sure, but I
That's
for sure because them, they legends. I mean, not to take
to
nothing
be
from
honest,
Goldie or
yo.
Wale.
The
I love
reason
them dudes.
why, no, you're 100% right, but I think I have to bring it back to the Wale because I really don't think that would have happened without the Wale thing happening first, and that's what's so
Mm,
big. So I would no way would have had that opportunity if that
for
Wale
sure.
thing didn't happen first. Trust me. So it's like, yeah, that was crazy amazing, especially because those were like within 5 months of each other, like the Slick Rick thing and then the Rakim thing. And I met the girl who connected me to them. I met her on the street. I was playing violin in Silver Spring on the street one
Wow.
late, and this girl walked up to me. She was like so different because one, she's a woman, but she was so brave to walk up to a random ass black dude just playing on the street. And the way she was moving, I was watching how she was moving. As I'm talking, I find out she's like ex-military. She freaking is nice with nunchucks. Like she's official. Like no, bro, I'm dead serious. And she's a rapper. She was a sick ass rapper too. So
Yo.
like, yeah, bro. So like we connected when she saw me on the street just to create the creative energy and she invited me to a bunch of open mics. So we used to chill a little bit before she even offered that opportunity to me. So like we was just cool peoples from a random chick who I vibe with off of music. She loved my playlist. She was an old school hip hop head, so it's all connecting. I always play over old school hip hop stuff. And I don't know, one random day she's like, "Hey, yo, I got an opportunity because she was opening for Slick Rick on his birthday, and she was like, "Yo, I want you to come play for my set." Slick Rick. So like, she was really cool with Slick Rick's like wife, his manager, all stuff like that, and like brought me on. We did the set, and then after that, I flicked it up with Slick Rick, met him, all that stuff like that. Like 5 months later, she again, I'm about to open for Rakim. I'm like, what? So like, I remember there was a moment where I'm in the dressing room, and the only people in the dressing room, it was a small ass dressing room, is me, my fiance, and Rakim. That's all. It's just us three. And we're chilling and talking. I'm just thinking to myself, like, this can't be my life, yo. Like, I'm like, no, literally, right before Rakim goes on stage, because the girl, her name is Intel, she walks us into his dressing room, right? And at first, he's like Rakim, some of like two, like one of the like manager, and then us three. And then all of a sudden, Intel and the manager just leave, and it's just me, Rakim, and my fiance for like a good long time. It was like 15 minutes. We're just
Wow.
chilling, and like after we're done the conversation, he's like, "Oh, I think they called me," and then they say, "Introduce Rakim." He walks from the dressing room onto the stage, straight to his set, and I'm just like, "Yeah, bro." I'm like, "This is
Rakim.
Crazy. This is crazy." Like it was unbelievable. Bro. I gave him all his props. I was like, "Dude, like." I'm so honored to meet you right now, man. Like, And we flicked it up after two with the picks, and yeah, man, man, that run from 2016 to like 2019 was unfucking real, like unreal. And then like being on the BET movie, um, Angrily Ever After, and the connect for that was on the street as well. I was playing at the DC Wharf, which is like a high development going on over there, where they're adding a whole bunch of. It's already been added, but there's a whole other part to it coming, with just restaurants and seafood and just attractions all on the waterfront of DC. And I did the grand opening for the wharf, and I played there. So they started hiring me to play. Literally, they hired me to play on the street of the wharf. So I would go to the wharf and play, and I met this woman who randomly called me one morning, like, "Hey, I have a friend who's a BC producer, and she's looking for a violinist for this movie. Are you available today?" I'm like, I can be, like, you know what I mean? So
figure out my schedule.
I like got the schedule, get my clothes washed, get myself a lineup, looking fresh. I jet over there to the wharf, bro, and like, sure enough, sign a few papers. I even put down the exact name I wanted to be credited as, which was Marvillous Beats, and I wrote that down purposefully instead of my government name because I wanted my brand to be in press and written. So like I remember, and now you go to the movie, it doesn't say Marvillous Martin, it says Marvillous Beats, and that's how I wanted it. So anybody go, I have like an IMDb page now, which is crazy. So like so yeah, I got my first movie credit just being, and it says Marvillous Beats as a violinist. So it's like I'm playing myself in the movie, like as like a violinist in this lounge. There's like one scene I just kind of like did a cameo real quick, and yeah, man, like all of this happened in like a 2.5, 3 year span, and yeah, yeah, man. Like I said, like man, I wouldn't even recognize myself like 4 years ago, like for real, like but yeah, it all started from the Wale thing, man. The Wale thing, like I took it to a whole new level,
Yeah, it seems to me who you became in the process in order to get to the point where you're at right now, and continue to elevate and climb the ranks that as you're continuously doing right now is the true value of what the experience has brought, man. It's like the jump, the evolution of who you are, your brand, what you're giving, what you're teaching, what you're inspiring. That shit is mad dope, bro. And I know I said I wanted to leave out here with just two more questions or that one, but I really
I got a little more time, man. We good. I got a little cushion. We good. We can keep rocking.
I purposely got a little cushion. I know we talked about an hour 15, but we gonna go a little over.
Yeah, we good.
I want to give you this space right now because it's clear to me that you have some very strong, influential women in your life that were very pivotal in helping you and continuously helping you. So I want to give you that space to just give them some flowers right now, my G.
I appreciate you so much for doing that. One, because I thought about that. I didn't think about it all the time. I'm just like, there's so many, and specifically black women. Like the black women in my life have helped me. There's no way to even quantify it. There's no way to fully pay it back. Like from my mom to my sisters to my fiance to the rapper named Intel who met me randomly on the street, the black woman who connected me to BET. It's crazy, man. Like I don't know. I've always had a very, very, very high respect for women. Number one, because I grew up with mostly women. You know what I mean? Um, and like I said, it's almost no way for me to pay them back, but just to always, when I have the opportunity to give them the flowers on the biggest stages, even any stage, I happily happily do it. You know what I mean? And it's very clear, and I say it all the time. Like I will not be where I am now without the women in my life. That is period. That is full stop. You know what I mean? Like it's I definitely want to talk about people who are super negative because I want to keep bring any negativity onto this topic at all. You know what I'm saying? Keep it positive, but like that's what I meant, especially in the black community, especially to continue to support on women, respect on women. Um, give them their flowers. You know what I'm saying? Give them their soapboxes. Give them their chances. You know what I'm saying? Give them their space. Give them their respect. You know what I'm saying? Give them your ear. You know what I'm saying? For real. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's crazy. Like as much as it's impacted my life, I can't imagine on like a historic scale, an American historic scale. You want to go all the way back to African kingdoms, like just to think about how women have literally shaped so much of 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 just history in general. You know what I'm saying? The amount of alley hoops they've thrown to the men, on the ways to building this thing is it's incredible how much I can imagine how much is not known, how much is not talked about. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? As much as we do know, like, can you imagine how much is not talked about? You know what I'm saying? Like, the amount of alley hoops I've gotten on my journey from women is crazy. It's absolutely insane. Like, and one thing that it makes me so humbled about it. You know what I'm saying? To think like, man, y'all really saw like I was worth that effort. You know, so I was worth that time. Like, and I think that's a big testament to just not just even just men in our relationship with women, but just like just people in the world. It's like you gotta like how I explain it. Man, how I explain it. You just gotta sometimes you really just gotta put the energy out that you gotta make it kind of easy for that kind of giving energy to come around you. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta sometimes you do have to build something first for somebody to come and take it serious. Sometimes you do have to change first. But you can't, you know what I'm saying? People gotta see the work first. Somebody gotta see the passion first. And it's just like I think a lot of I'm not saying I guarantee you, like even if I showed a fraction of the drive and determination that I had, those women still would have helped me. But it's like you have to take some responsibility as a person for what you can do and what you can build, what you can control, what you can put together, and then like I said, karma. I'm a big dude on karma. Put that energy out. Like, yo, I'm serious about this. I'm putting in the work, and it'll come. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it. I've experienced it. You know what I'm saying? So I ride and die by that all day. But yeah, thank you to all the women in my life. Jeez Louise.
Absolutely. I know a great way you can pay it forward, man, is through your daughter, man. And just
oh, absolutely.
And I can already tell. I can already tell that's one of like your biggest priority, man.
Absolutely, hands down, man, hands down. One of my biggest things was making sure that my daughter had a two-parent loving household, and I'm dedicating to that for as long as I possibly can until I am gone. Like, because I didn't not only did I didn't really have that, I didn't really see it in my friends. Like, they're like almost all my parents' friends are not together. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't know. I just wanted to even like it's a whole other conversation. Me and my fiance's relationship was just so we were so focused on doing it our way, like specifically our way, and like our timing and our, it's just like I didn't want to repeat any bad generational cycles or curses. You know what I'm saying? Like especially with so much resources that God has given me, and so much opportunity God has given me. I just feel like it would be disrespectful straight up to me. I feel in my soul, I feel like it'd be disrespectful as hell to the Most High, to whatever God you believe in, for me to be in this kind of position and do fuckery. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like it don't make no sense. I can't be who I am and just do stupid shit. It just doesn't make sense. Karmically, it doesn't make sense. So I stay hella humble. I try to always, you know what I'm saying, uh, uh, you know, just move with principle. You know what I mean? And integrity. There you go. That's a word. Move with integrity. And yeah, man, being a very present father for sure is a huge priority on my list for sure, as well as a great husband.
That's amazing, man. Seriously, that's truly amazing, bro. And the last thing I usually do before I let my guests get up out of here, man, is just give you a little bit of opportunity to talk about anything that you feel like you wanted to talk about that we might not have covered. And I just want to ask you also too, like, what's one parting gift that you would kind of give to anybody listening to this, to further inspire them, man?
Email me. Yeah, I say just email me straight up. Like, even if it's not like, hey, I want you to play at my brother or sister's wedding, just if you have a simple question about music business or advice on playing in the street, I'm super open. So you can DM me, you can email me. Other than that, I guess I'll just make some like a couple announcements, I guess, about like some things that are coming up. I do play in a band called Control Chaos. Super talented band. Um, all HBCU students who basically graduated, and we all play our instruments very well. We come together. We make this. It's led by Jonathan Foots Livas. He's the drummer. We call him Foots, and incredibly talented dude. And we are in the process of getting our second album out. It's already recorded. It's being mixed right now. Our second album is called Get Into It, and I expect that to be out in the spring, later this summer. I'm super excited about that because the music sounds incredible. The process of recording this album was amazing. The amount of instrumentation, musicians that we brought in, like there's not a single, I don't know, there's not a single instrument class that we haven't brought in live to play on this album. So it's just gonna sound like full soundscape, like just beautiful garage soul. That's what we call our genre, garage soul. So look out for that. Also, I'm definitely working on my third album, the third chilled violin album. It was gonna be spring. I think I'm gonna push it back to summer, because I got the whole other album going on right now, and wedding season is about to pop up, so I'll be a little busy. Chilled violin. I'm not gonna give the name out, the theme name out yet, but the third chilled violin album is on the way for sure. And let's keep up with me, people who are watching on marvbeats.com, and it's spelled how it sounds, marvbeats.com. And find my links to everything: Instagram, YouTube. You can book me directly on our website too, and and read more of the story. There's my bio and all that good stuff there too. So join me on the journey. That's all I can say. Just join me on this journey.
Yes, sir, man. And Marv, man, I personally truly appreciate your time, man. I appreciate the work that you're doing. I appreciate the energy you're giving off. And seriously, I learned so much from our conversation today, and I was very happy to have met you. You're welcome on anytime, man. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Like I said, I will take you up on an offer for sure.
Anytime, man. And damn, seriously, man, it was a great conversation. Had a lot of fun doing this, man. And yeah, before we get up out of here, to my Blessed Beyond Measure podcast audience, man, make sure you go follow Marv at Marvillous Beats.
Yep, Marvillous Beats.
Marvillous
Yeah, at
Beats
Marvillous
on
Beats.
Instagram. He's got his website in the link over there, so you can kind of get connected with him through there. Like it'll jump you to booking him for weddings. It'll jump you to all his music. It'll jump you to articles about him. Dude's a real fascinating dude, real experienced dude, and just good dude overall from what I could tell and what I've got to learn about him today. And man, Marv, thanks again, brother.
Thank you, my brother, man. It's been an absolute joy. And yeah, man, can't wait till next time, man. You have a great one. And peace to everybody out there viewing.
All right, y'all. Peace and love, y'all. Stay blessed.
All right, man. Next life. You too.